Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I am so excited you are here today. I wanted to chat about minimalism and decluttering and honestly give you guys a bit of truth about these two topics because I feel like there is just so many different beliefs and myths and a lot of toxic stuff out there that has been circulating the internet. And so I thought, let's just sit down, have a little chat together. And meanwhile, while we are talking, I am going to be freshening up my house. So I do have a few little jobs to do. I'm wanting to wipe down all of my kitchen cabinets just on the outsides. I want to clean out my fridge. We are going to go into my laundry room and just clear out and organize the cupboards in there. And then I am going to switch over my kids' sheets because they do have like summer comforters that we use because it's really hot where I live. I am going to switch them out for more warmer blankets. And then lastly, I am going to wipe down all of the walls in my house. So it's going to be a really productive video. If you clicked on this video for some, cleaning or decluttering motivation, then by all means, go and grab all of your cleaning products and let's get to it. Otherwise, grab a beautiful cup of coffee, whatever drink you enjoy, and let's chat because I'm really excited for this video. First off, let's start with the Google definition about what exactly minimalism is. So on Google, the Oxford Dictionary definition of minimalism says it is the deliberate lack of decoration or adornment in style or design. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds really boring, and I don't know why anyone would want to be a minimalist based on that definition. However, because minimalism has become such a big topic, everyone knows about it, it's very controversial when it comes to certain beliefs. I truly believe that minimalism is so flexible and it really comes down to who you are as a family, what works for you, and I think every single household who practices minimalism is going to do that in a different, unique way that suits their own lifestyle and needs. So, of course, my own definition, which I just made up, is, here's what it is, let me tell you. I believe that minimalism for me is owning as little as possible while still maintaining a well-run, functional home and cultivating a beautiful space that brings me enjoyment, satisfaction, and calm in everyday life. I have been practicing minimalist habits and like the minimalist lifestyle for a long time now. I would say it's probably been about 7 years. In fact, as soon as I moved out and started living in my own space, I've always been drawn to more clean, clutter-free environments, and I do think it's because my grandparents are definitely hoarders, and then my parents as well. Their home is just full of stuff, and every time I visit these homes, I love it. I feel so comfortable. I feel so loved because that's where all my childhood memories are, and it's such a fun, loving space. However, every time I leave those spaces, I am so excited to get back to my own home because I don't even realize it in the moment, but just being in those spaces, even though I feel positive emotions there, subconsciously my body actually gets stressed. And of course, if my body is stressed, my mind is stressed too. It's not even something that I'm conscious of until I get home, and it's like this big breath of fresh air stepping into my minimal home. Now, by all means, a lot of people will look at the number of belongings I have and say, what are you talking about, Marissa? You are not minimalist. You're not minimal at all. I can completely see where you are coming from. However, growing up with the family that I did grow up with, I am definitely minimal. That is my standard. My standard is I am basing this off not even my parents' home, my grandparents' home. Okay, so for me, being minimal is all about keeping everything that helps my home run smoothly, but also those items that make me happy, because I do own quite a few things, especially when it comes to certain categories, which I am going to chat about later on in this video. Something that I don't think a lot of people who are new to minimalism realize is that when you live a minimalist lifestyle, it can actually hinder you from loving on and blessing others, especially when they visit your home. A few years ago, I hosted Christmas for the first time ever. We were in an awesome home and we had the space to host our really large family, which was all really fun and exciting. However, once I started organizing, I realized, oh my goodness, I don't actually have the things I need to make everyone feel comfortable and make this a success. There were so many items I needed to purchase. Even simple things, like I did not even own any wine glasses, so I had to go out and buy literally all new glassware. We could have just drank out of paper cups, but it was my first time hosting and I wanted it to feel a bit fancy. But also, it made me realize, oh my goodness, I need these things, these basic things that will help me bless others throughout my life. I want to have other families over for dinner. I want my girlfriends to come over for drinks. I want to have game nights. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so many silly little items that will actually make these things be a much bigger success. And no, it's not about the things, it's about the people, 100%. But you can't have people over for dinner if you don't even have anything for them to eat out of. So let's get into my very first myth. This is that if you were really a minimalist, you wouldn't need to keep decluttering. I can't remember who said this, but I heard some lady saying, you know, when I watch these minimalism videos, it makes me laugh because if they really were minimal, would they really need to declutter all the time? And I do think there is a bit of truth in that, but I don't think that's the reality. At least it hasn't been for me. In my experience, decluttering will never stop. You are always going to have to declutter regularly. However, how regularly that is will depend on the person. So for example, I probably do a full house declutter maybe once every quarter in the year. But even then, my full house declutter would be like 3 bags. I've actually done a recent decluttering video. I'll link it up in the cards right now for you guys to watch that after this video if you want. But there's not much that I need to declutter, but the reason why you will always declutter is because pieces of things go missing, items break in your home that you may not even be aware of, but if you are intentionally decluttering, you will find those broken items in your house, especially if you have children. You also have birthdays and gifts, and if you have a lot of children, you are going to have a lot of random gifts and toys lying around that need to be thrown out. We also go through a lot of clothes, and clothes get worn out. I don't know if you guys can relate, but my husband, he wears out his shirts. Like he wrecks a shirt every single week. There are holes in it, they are stained, they are faded. I need to declutter his clothes all the time, right? So decluttering in my home, it's never going to stop. It's always going to be there. However, since starting a more minimal lifestyle, 100%, the amount of items I need to declutter each time gets smaller and smaller, because as I get older, I become more aware of who we are as a family. I realize what we really do need. I realize what we don't need and what we can live without. And I think when you are a new homemaker, maybe you are young in your early 20s, it took me 30 years for me to get really comfortable in understanding how we work. And I don't think you can control that. I think that's purely going to come down to experience and living life and living in your own home. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is that being a minimalist doesn't mean you can't enjoy collecting certain things. So even though I would categorize or label myself as a more minimal person, there are certain things in my life that I do not hold back on. These things is books. I love books. I would stay up reading the Harry Potter books when I was like 7 years old. I'm talking, I would stay up under my covers with a little light till like 3 a.m. when I had school the next day. I love books. My dream is to have a library when we own a house, and so I am collecting the books that I love and that I am drawn to for that future moment. And like, that's just something that I'm not going to give up on. Another thing I did is I actually minimized my closet about 2 years ago. And then I realized that I hated everything. I didn't have enough pieces to dress myself in a way that made me feel good. Like, I know that it works for a lot of people. There's a YouTuber called Madison Gray who I absolutely love. She does like 10 item closet videos all the time. I love them. Love that for her. It doesn't work for me. I like having multiple items. I just like having clothes. And honestly, I do not own heaps of clothes by any means. It's still an extremely minimal closet, but it's not something that I intentionally like make sure I only have 5 tops or I only have 3 jeans. I don't have those rules when it comes to my clothing. And then the last thing that I'm really not minimal on is homeschool supplies. So I do homeschool a lot of kids. That means I have a lot of art supplies. I have a lot of curriculum that I've purchased and realized wasn't suitable for the time. But because I have younger kids who haven't started school yet, I have kept those things. It's not cheap, guys. Like, you know, a woman's got to pay her bills, so I keep those things in storage. And then I also have a lot of paperwork around my home too. So if you are new to this more minimal way of life, please don't feel like you can't have anything that you love. You absolutely can. I do believe it's about keeping minimal items in the things you don't care about, and then enjoying those special few things that bring you joy and comfort in your home as well. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is the belief that having kids means you can't be a minimalist. For me, I truly believe that balance is key when it comes to family, because just because you value a clutter-free minimal home, it doesn't mean that your family does. Like, have you ever thought about that? That yes, you might love the beige aesthetic, you might love having like 1 spoon per person. This is literally a true story for my household. But if it is really irritating your husband that when he goes to get a spoon, he needs to wash it because there's nothing extra, right? It's really not worth that. Like, it's not worth sticking it out just to have this religion of, in the name of minimalism, I need to only own 5 spoons. Okay, like, it's not worth it. People are more important than pretty much anything else except God. And so if it is causing strife in your family, then truly, guys, it's not worth it. You want to be aware of your family's needs and what your children enjoy as well. And guys, we have so much influence in the home. We have so much control and power over how our home functions, and that is a beautiful blessing. But you also, at least I don't want to take advantage of that. I don't want to make everyone miserable and force them to be like me if they do enjoy having a lot of things. I know for a fact, one of my children especially, they are so artsy and they love stuff. They're always making messes, and I love that for her. It's a pain to clean up after her, but I just know she is never going to be minimal like me. She just loves things all around her. So before I leave you guys, I just want to remind you that you are not in a cult. If you want to live a more minimal lifestyle, or if you do live by a minimal lifestyle, guys, just remember, this is not a cult. You can break the rules. You can do whatever you want that works for you and your family and that makes you happy. I've gotten a lot of funny comments on my videos. Things like, why did you buy a changing table then? Another comment I've gotten is, oh, I feel sorry for your kids. Their days and their bedrooms look so boring. My kids would hate that. your home isn't even minimal. There's so much unnecessary stuff. Like, there is always going to be people out there who are like the minimalist police, and they are going to think that you're doing it wrong. But from one sister to another girl, I'm telling you, if you are wanting to live a more minimal lifestyle, by all means, go ahead and do it. And, you know, do a bit of research, find out what works for your family, and check out all the things that don't work for you. As you live life, you are going to get more comfortable and confident in your own ways. And I really hope that that was helpful. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.